Supposing the obtrusion were not there in the first place, life blossoms again. And that's what spinology is all about. To put in that tiny little force that allows that vertebra to go back where it belongs. Let's see a side view. Can you see the next one? Now. Go back. Unfortunately, we don't have a
Clicker, sorry.
clicker. Yes, a remote.
Ineffective
Yeah.
clicker.
A tiny little misalignment that presses on the nerves. Can we go back again this way? Yeah, see, go to it, and the nerves damaged and interfered with, and it stays that way forever until some kind of force puts it back to normal. And that's what the spinologists are trained to do, to bring about normalcy of the nerve system. And once the nerve system is functioning normally, let's go ahead again. The subluxation is gone, or the obtrusion is gone. Now, the control system, it becomes damaged. The body may act exactly as it should, but a little more slowly. That's what an obtrusion does. Makes the body function out of sync. So the cells make the wrong amount of chemicals. The wrong quantity or quality, the wrong strength. The result is a chemical imbalance. And if you go through life with a chemical imbalance, performance is diminished. Why do you think the police won't let you drive when you've been drinking alcohol? Because that messes up your chemistry. That chemical imbalance affects your reaction time. Reaction time is slowed, judgment is impaired, speed of action is impaired. In other words, as long as your chemistry is out of balance, you'll never be as good as you could be. Now, not only with alcohol, how would you like to go to a dentist who has a hangover? How would you like to go to a spinologist who has a hangover? You know, zzz, sorry. That zzz, sorry gets you. You don't want to live life with obtrusions. You're going to drive home time. You know the federal government in the United States, I don't know about here in Ireland, but the federal government in the United States warns people that 1 out of 10 drivers on the highway are under the influence of alcohol. That means it's dangerous by driving. And tomorrow morning, while you're thinking about driving, I'm going to be in an airplane flying over to London. And the pilot has an obtrusion. Everybody has obtrusions. You can't get through life without obtrusions. I'll explain why in a minute. So when you're at the bottom, performance is diminished in a definite chain from subluxation or obtrusion to loss of control of the nerve system. The cells or the glands make the wrong quantity or quality of their chemicals. Chemical balance is lost and performance is diminished. And most of the people in this room are living with those conditions, living with diminished performance. I know you're great, but damn it, you could be a good sight better. If only you let a spinologist bring about correction of your obtrusion. That's what they do for a living. That's what they're trained in. They put in a tiny little force that gets rid of the obtrusion, and lo and behold,
Very slow. Obviously, I have a lot.
once the bone is back in place where it belongs, then the nerve system functions normally again. The nerve system functioning normally, the glands work in harmony. That's the key word, harmony. All the cells do what they're supposed to do. And chemical balance is restored, not immediately, but over a period of time, chemical balance goes back, not necessarily all the way, but it improves as much as it can, and your performance improves as well. That's it. It's that simple. Now, a couple of other things. There's a fellow falling off the top story of the Empire State Building in New York. As he passes every window on the way down, he says, well, I feel fine so far. See, that's where chiropractors make their mistake. They ask people how they feel. How you feel has nothing to do with it. You can feel great, pick up the newspaper and read about this guy who had never had a sick day in his life. He was wonderful. And then walking down to the grocery store, he dropped dead of a heart attack at age 42. And everyone said, well, he never did that before. He never will again either. The fact is, symptoms are the last stage of disease, not the first stage. By the time you know you have symptoms, the disease has been there for many, many years. So the idea is not to wait till you have symptoms before you see a spinologist or a chiropractor. The idea is to go regularly for the rest of your life. And for God's sake, please, 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 take the kids. I mean, I hate to say it, but you'd be totally stupid to go to a spinologist without your kids. Well, what causes these obtrusions? Oh, you don't get termites out here, do you? No, we get those in America. Termites are little white ants that get into your house, they eat the timbers. And for years, they eat away at the timbers and no symptoms. They nibble away, they're tiny little things. How much can they eat? And then one day you walk across the kitchen floor and the whole bloody floor collapses on you. There it is, 30 years later. An obtrusion is like those termites. An obtrusion eats away the foundation of life and health without any symptoms. And then suddenly, when the symptoms occur, you run off to the doctor, say cure this, cure that, cure the other thing, and sometimes it's too late. I hate to tell you, but for some of you it's already too late. But at least you can stop the damage from getting worse. Correct your obtrusions now so they can't do more damage later. And please, 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 check the kids. Let's look at some of the causes of obtrusion. Let's go back again. What causes obtrusions? Well, sports, work, poor posture, minor slips and accidents. You ever sit down around the kitchen table and the cabinet door swings open over your head and just sits there like a sword of Damocles until the phone rings and you jump, oh, it hurts. Just minor slips and falls. Everybody knows how to lift, right? Go down to the gym and watch them. Put on a big belt and use the long, strong muscles of the legs and lift that way. Huh? Easy. Try lifting the baby out of the crib like that. You can't do it. You have to bend over. Lifting a day in the life of two. That's my favorite. A day in the life of two. Anybody here have a 2-year-old? Better still, anybody here used to be 2? The 2-year-old gets up in the morning. The first thing he does is fall out of bed. Whack. Spinal obtrusion. He gets back into bed, kicks his brother out. You got 2 of them with spinal obtrusion. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. And already they're doing damage. They come down the stairs, one step at a time. Bump, bump, bump. Is that good for them? They eat their cereal. Then they go out and play. They fight, they wrestle, they roll down the hill. They fall off their scooter, they fall off skates, fall off their bicycle, fall off a tricycle, fall out of a tree, bounce off a trampoline. No obtrusions yet? Let's come into lunch. Before they sit down for lunch, they dive into the sofa half a dozen times head first. If you were to, suppose you got an obtrusion when you were 2 years of age, and the chances are you did, unless you were a dream child that never did those things, you poor little angel. The rest of us did those things. You know what? I was in my late 20s before I ever heard the word chiropractic. And even then, I was told you go to a chiropractor if you have symptoms. I was well into my 30s before I realized the significance of spinology. The significance of getting your spine checked